$3 billion, just a start. That's what it has cost so far to renovate a single hotel in New York City, and it still isn't finished. The Waldorf Astoria has been under scaffolding since 2017, consuming capital at a rate that has surprised even the developers who approved the budget. And the Waldorf is not the most extreme example, it is simply the most famous one. Across the United States, across Europe, across every city with an aging hospitality stock, hotel developers have been running the same calculation and arriving at the same answer. It is cheaper to knock the building down and start again than to renovate what's already standing. Not always, not for every building, but often enough that demolition has become a standard line item in hotel development planning, considered seriously, chosen regularly, and almost never discussed publicly because it sounds like vandalism. Yeah, renovation sounds like the obvious answer. It usually is. But once you see what renovation actually costs inside an old building, the wrecking ball starts to look like the sensible option. To understand this, you need to start with one basic truth. Old buildings are not empty shells waiting to be updated. They are decades of accumulated decisions, each of which now costs money to undo. A hotel built before 1980 almost certainly contains asbestos in ceiling tiles, in pipe insulation, in floor adhesives, in fireproofing applied throughout the structure. It contains lead paint on surfaces that have been repainted dozens of times. Its electrical system was designed for a fraction of the power load a modern hotel requires. Its plumbing runs through walls that haven't been opened since the building was constructed. Its structural elements were designed to codes that bear little resemblance to what is required today. None of this is visible from the lobby. All of it becomes a cost the moment renovation begins. And here's where the system creates its own trap. In most US jurisdictions, when a renovation project exceeds 50% of the building's assessed value, the entire structure must be brought up to current building code, not just the renovated portion. That's the trigger threshold. Cross it, and a partial renovation legally becomes a full code compliance project. Suddenly the developer isn't just upgrading the guest rooms, they're retrofitting the fire suppression system throughout the entire building, replacing the electrical panels on every floor, installing compliant egress routes that may not exist in the original floor plan, and potentially undertaking seismic retrofitting if the building sits in an applicable zone. The trigger threshold turns a renovation budget into a rebuilding budget, but inside an existing structure, which is the most expensive place to build. So the developer is stuck with two choices: renovate at new build cost with old building complications on every floor, or demolish and build clean from a cleared site. So what does it actually cost to renovate a large pre-1980 hotel properly? It starts with hazardous material abatement. Before a single wall can be opened, a certified survey must identify every regulated substance in the building. Then the removal begins. Asbestos abatement in a large commercial building runs $50 to $150 per square foot, and in a pre-1980 hotel, almost no square foot is untouched. For a hotel of 300,000 to 400,000 square feet, that's $15 million to $60 million before a single room has been renovated. And that figure assumes the asbestos is accessible. When it's behind finished surfaces, inside wall cavities, above suspended ceilings, beneath floor finishes, the removal cost climbs further because the surfaces must be demolished to reach it. Then there's fire code and structural compliance. Modern fire codes require sprinkler coverage throughout, fire-rated corridor construction, compliant stairwell pressurization, and emergency lighting systems that old buildings simply weren't built with. Installing a full sprinkler system in a standing building means running pipe through finished ceilings and walls on every floor. Structural compliance, particularly seismic retrofitting in cities like Los Angeles or San Francisco, can add another $10 million to $40 million to the project cost. Then there's the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing overhaul. Replacing century-old systems inside finished walls costs 2 to 4 times what the equivalent work costs in a new building. Every pipe, every conduit, every duct run must be accessed by opening finished surfaces, installed, and then those surfaces rebuilt. The labor cost per linear foot of pipe installation inside a standing building bears almost no relationship to the same work on an open construction site. But the part nobody expects is this. Old buildings routinely reveal additional problems the moment walls are opened. Structural elements that looked sound from the outside turn out to be compromised. Hidden water damage, undocumented modifications from previous renovations. Industry standard contingency for historic renovation runs 20 to 30% on top of the base project estimate, not because the estimators are being conservative, but because the surprises are that consistent. Add it all together. Renovating a large pre-1980 hotel properly costs $400 to $800 per square foot. New construction on a cleared site runs $250 to $400 per square foot. Every dollar spent inside the old building costs more than the equivalent dollars spent building new. Every dollar spent inside walls that keep revealing new problems. So if renovation costs $400 to $800 per square foot, what does demolition and a new build actually cost? The demolition itself is the smallest number in the equation. Taking down a large urban hotel typically costs $2 million to $8 million. Depending on structure type, height, and location, a fraction of the cost differential between renovation and new construction. On a cleared site, the developer then builds at $250 to $400 per square foot, with none of the hidden cost multipliers that old buildings carry. The comparison on a real project makes the math impossible to argue with. Take a 400,000 square foot hotel requiring full renovation. At a renovation cost of $500 per square foot, mid-range for a pre-1980 structure, that's $200 million. The developer gets a renovated building with updated interiors, but the same floor plate, the same room configurations, the same ceiling heights, and a structure that will need attention again in 15 to 20 years. Demolish the same building, $8 million. Build new at $350 per square foot, $140 million. Total, $148 million. The developer gets a modern floor plate, higher ceilings, better room configurations, current building systems with a 30-year service life, and a building that carries no hidden liability from what might be inside the walls. The difference is $52 million in favor of starting over. The math doesn't make a suggestion, it gives an order. Here's what nobody talks about. The economics of hotel renovation don't just affect developers making profit calculations. They affect building owners who have no choice, because the building they own has been heritage listed. Heritage listing, the designation of a building as historically or architecturally significant, can make demolition legally impossible regardless of what the economics say. A hotel that would be cheaper to demolish cannot be demolished if it carries heritage status. The owner is required to preserve the structure, required to renovate rather than replace, and required to absorb every cost that comes with that mandate. There is no compensation mechanism. The heritage designation protects the building. The economics of complying with that protection fall entirely on the private owner. The asbestos abatement industry sits at the center of this. With a limited pool of certified contractors, a regulatory framework that mandates their use, and no competitive alternative for building owners who must comply, abatement contractors operate in one of the most structurally protected markets in the construction industry. The U.S. asbestos abatement market exceeds $5 billion annually. The certification barrier that limits new entrants isn't a conspiracy. It reflects genuine public health requirements. But it also means that when a heritage-listed hotel owner must renovate, they face premium pricing in a market with no viable substitute. The building is protected. The owner absorbs the cost. The abatement contractor sends the invoice. There have been attempts to change this. In 2022, New York City's Adaptive Reuse Task Force published recommendations specifically addressing the renovation cost cliff created by the 50% code compliance trigger. The task force found that the threshold was causing building owners to leave properties vacant, rather than trigger mandatory full code upgrades they couldn't afford, an outcome that served neither preservation nor development goals. The recommendation was to revise the trigger threshold and create a more graduated compliance pathway for existing buildings. The recommendation was welcomed by developers and largely resisted by fire safety advocates and preservation groups, the former arguing that relaxing code requirements creates safety risks, the latter arguing that any pathway that makes demolition more economically attractive than renovation will be used to justify tearing down buildings that should be kept. Both arguments have merit. Neither has produced a workable alternative to the current system. In European cities facing similar pressures, London, Paris, Amsterdam, the tension between heritage preservation mandates and uneconomic renovation costs has left significant portions of aging hotel stock in a legal and financial limbo. Too expensive to renovate properly, legally impossible to demolish, and therefore simply not renovated at all. So the strange truth remains. In city after city, the most economically rational response to an aging hotel is to knock it down and build again. And the systems designed to prevent that outcome have largely succeeded only in ensuring that nothing happens at all. The hotel company isn't being wasteful. It's being rational inside a system designed to make preservation the most expensive option. The next time you walk past a scaffolded hotel that has been under renovation for years longer than anyone expected, understand that inside those hoardings, someone is paying $400 a square foot to fix problems that a cleared site would have solved for half the price. And the building code is the reason they had no other choice.